Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the Saab 900 Turbo, which is disappointing me today. Well, in the last video, I fixed up that problem with the key. Now I can turn the key and crank the car. I'm not going to say start the car because that's not happening today, but I can crank the car and have ignition on and all that from inside the car, and that's pretty cool. But it's not starting. I drove it out here and then I had to move it a little bit, get the Merc out, and it wouldn't start, and I actually had to bump start it or drive it a bit on the starter engine to move it out of the way. Not the best thing to do, but I was in a hurry and I just couldn't get it to start. I'm pretty sure that the problem is at that K-Jet injection system once again. The thing that I fixed in the Will It Run video in this car. What I did there was that I cheated the engine to thinking that it got more air and therefore more fuel, and then I got it to run by holding up the metering plate on the K-Jet system, and then after a while it started to run on its own and drove perfectly. And I actually drove it from my storage facility a couple of times since then, no problems. But as some of you mentioned, and I also was worried about, was that it is still, I think, gummed up inside. The best thing would be to start it up, like I did in that Will It Run video, maybe pour in some injector cleaner and then take it for a good long ride, a couple of 100 kilometers at least, to flush it all out. That's not possible in this car because it's not at all roadworthy just yet, so I'm not going to do that. But I need this car to be able to start and run so I can move it in and out of the garage, because I like to work on multiple projects all the time. So I need it to run. What I'm going to attempt today is to remove the K-Jet system from the car, put it in on my bench and try to clean up the inside. I have no idea how it looks inside. It could end up being a disaster. I'm lucky to actually have found a spare unit that I could put in the car that maybe works, but I would like to try to fix the one that I have. But let's try, take it out and put it on the bench. I think this is a good day to remind you all that I'm no expert. I'm not doing this to make video guides on how to fix cars. I'm doing this because I think it's fun. I'm doing this because I think it can motivate others to try, even though they don't really know what they are doing, because I think we live in a world where we have overcomplicated a lot of stuff. And as a result, I think the distance between us and the stuff we use every day is growing, making us feel slightly disconnected. I don't know if it makes sense, but I think it's better to at least try to fix stuff than to think that everything around you is some kind of sorcery that you do not have any possibility to alter or fix or anything like that. We are not puppeteers in a world of things that are controlling us. It's the other way around. So you can do whatever you like, but you will have to try and you will have to fail, and failure is maybe what you actually learn most from. Today is going to maybe end up being one of those days where I learn a lot and don't really get to fix anything, because this, I think, is a very simple device, but it still feels like some kind of sorcery. When I look at it, I can only hear Kraftwerk music in my head. We are the robots. But maybe it's just some kind of thing that is full of crap. So I'm going to try to take it apart. I don't even know if that's possible. And then we'll see if I can fix it. It's coming apart. we have more screws that we can take apart. Now we should be able to take the two halves apart, I guess. Like that. Oh, there we go. I'm not sure that I'm daring to take this out, but I have a feeling that this check ball up here could be an issue. But what I'm going to do now is to give it a bath and then reassemble it, and then just hope, because I'm I'm too deep in now. Go. A lot cleaner. Not perfect, but I think it's good enough. So everything is now pretty clean. Now I'm going to reassemble it. I cut a new gasket because the old one was really bad, and also it was not very tight, so it was leaking air, but I don't think it would matter much between this and the airbox. It is on the other side of the air measuring device, so I don't think it matters at all, actually. But anyway, now we have a new gasket. Everything is pretty clean. And yeah, let's try to reassemble it. What's kind of funny is that there are two of these in each port for the injectors, but on some of them it consists of one washer instead of two, but at the same width. So that's a bit of a puzzle, but I don't think it matters where they are. Once again, maybe someone is screaming at the screen, but I've measured them and they are the same size, so it's just a bit weird, the size difference, I mean. I haven't really found any smoking gun, but this seems to be a lot easier to move now than it was before. There is a piston in here that plummets up and down when there's pressure. This is the one that this air meter is pushing on with this one. So when air is flowing into the engine, it pushes this one up, which pushes this one up and puts pressure on the entire system, or to the piston. There's always pressure on the system, actually, but by pressing this down, it sends the pressure to the injectors. So it seems to be more easy to operate now than it was before. So maybe this will do the trick. Who knows? But I haven't found any smoking gun, as I just said. But maybe it's just good to clean it. Or maybe it will never ever work again after I opened it up. We'll see. It would maybe have been good to actually get a rebuild kit for this, because this plate got small indentations. I don't know if that will matter, but it would have been nice to get a new one. But I don't think it matters. Like that. Oh yes, I could have painted it, but well, it's not that kind of channel, sorry to say. And then of course I'm going to change all copper gaskets, because they're not really meant to be used more than once, maybe twice, and then could heat them up, but I'm changing them. Then we're going to fit this one like that. Seems really smooth now and easy to move. Of course there's no pressure, so that might all change, but it seems nice. And then this on right here and onto the filter box, but I'm going to install the filter box first in the car. It's not going to be now though, because the car is outside and it's completely pitch black right now, so it will be a job for tomorrow. So it's the day after. I have now installed the K-Jet system back in with new gaskets and all that on the inlets and outlets and all that. Next up, I'm going to put pressure on the system and see if it leaks, because it could be leaking from the two halves. So I'm gonna put ignition on now. Yep, it's leaking. It's leaking from the sides. It occurred to me when I had installed everything that those halves is pretty important, that they are completely flush, and that maybe that gasket material needs to be changed also. Anyway, I need to take it off again. So I took it apart again and tightened it up a lot more. I wasn't really thinking about the fact that this needs to seal around here at high pressure also. So I hadn't tightened those torque screws up too much, because yeah, I just didn't. Now I have. I think it will seal now. I'm gonna try and install it. So the system is now back in, and let's hope it doesn't leak this time. By the way, I told you that this is not something that can be adjusted per se, but it actually can, because you can adjust the idle mixture through this one. And I'm pretty sure that will affect the whole range actually. So it is slightly adjustable, but not adjustable at certain points. It's just generic pretty much. I'm gonna put ignition on, and hopefully it won't leak out here. Well, it is leaking. It is leaking out there, or pretty much all around actually. So I think that gasket in between had to be changed, but I'm going to try to start it anyway, because maybe it worked, that just the leaky thing is a problem and I need to get a new gasket for that. So I'm going to put it all back on, and then we're going to try to start it anyway. So even though it leaks, I'm going to try to start it, because if it works now, then I know it's just the gasket that's an issue. Then maybe I can get a new one, or just install the other unit that I have. But let's try. It's exactly the same. I'm actually unsure if that's even the issue now. Or maybe I am just a puppet in the K-Jet universe. All that talk about trying to fix stuff that you don't really know how works and all that. Well, this is an example of one of those times where I tried to fix something that I didn't have any clue how it worked, and it didn't really turn out that great. But to be honest, I think I have been on a wild goose chase. I don't think it's the K-Jet system that is at fault at the moment. Maybe it's that pressure transducer thingy, or maybe it's the fuel accumulator. I just don't know, but I actually think that the K-Jet system itself is all right. Now I have actually made it leak. That's not very good. But the good thing is that I have just Googled a rebuild kit, and it's available. It's very expensive, and I don't think I'm going to buy it, but it states that you need to use some liquid sealant on that. It's a stainless steel plate apparently in between. So I'm just going to take it apart again and add some liquid sealant and put it back together and tighten it up. And then I think it would be good, because it's only leaking a little bit right now. It's really not a lot. So some sealant liquid kind of stuff I think will work perfectly. But it won't solve the problem, I'm pretty sure. I'm having another problem. I just checked for spark. There is spark, so that's not the problem. I can hear the fuel pressure gets to the K-Jet, and I can see it leaks, so there is fuel up there. I just don't really know why the fuel is not getting into the engine, or if there's something else wrong. It could also be because the engine for some reason is completely out of time. I don't think so though. All I know is it's way too cold to work outside at the moment. It's on the freezing point at the moment, and my fingers get so cold and my feet and all that. So I'm not going to do anything else on the Saab now. I'm going to need some help to get it into the garage, because I will have to drag it all around the garage to get it into the gate. That's a two-man job at least. So I won't do anything else. And also, as you can see, I'm working on the Princess at the moment, so it will be a little while. But I'm going to release this video anyway, because this channel is not about fixing stuff per se. It's about trying to fix stuff. And failure is also a part of that game. And I'm actually not even going to accept it as a complete failure, because I have taken the K-Jet system apart and put it back together. And I don't think it's such great sorcery as I have been told. I could still be wrong though, but I think the only thing I did wrong was I didn't apply a bit of sealant on that plate. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for the support I get on Patreon, and see you in the next one.